Hi, my name is Aditya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about something that I thought awful, and I could be wrong. Okay, fine. I could be wrong, but I'm right. I could be wrong, but I'm right. This is what is nice about having a YouTube channel. You say whatever you like. You are not a journalist. You don't have to be fair. But you can practice to be fair, but you don't really have to. You can choose a side if you like. So if I'm you can choose a side. Why not the hell me? Anywho, guys, how you doing? I hope you guys are all well. So let's talk about the moment judges secretly decide murder trials long before the verdict. Senzomiwa trial is not an exception from this, okay? There is a moment in almost every long murder trial when the judge quietly decides something, not the verdict, but something just as important, okay? Whether the state case is strong or dangerously weak. And here is the shocking part. The moment almost never happens at or on the day of the judgment. No, it happens as the judge is listening. Okay, it usually happens months earlier during the specific moment of the courtroom. A moment most people watching the trial don't even notice sometimes, but it's now we think we've cracked. We think we've noticed that Judge Rata has taken a side. We could be very wrong. Okay, we could be very, very wrong. Okay, and once it happens, the entire case changes. Maybe that's why he behaves like this. Other people believe that Judge Rata has decided the guys are guilty. Other people have decided Judge Rata is treating the case as if the defense must prove the guys are innocent. Let's look into all of that. Number one, the courtroom illusion. Let's deal with that. At the beginning of a murder trial, everything looks convincing. The prosecution calls witnesses, the story flows smoothly, the narrative feels complete, but there is a reason for that. Because at the stage, the witness is speaking under friendly conditions. The prosecutor is asking the questions, the path is prepared. No one is attacking its story yet. The story yet is not being attacked by no one. It is like watching the bridge before something or before anyone tests its weight. Before anything is put there to see can cars actually cross there. Understand? Yang understand, Namara, yang gota, yang get, yang gota. Do you get me? Do you understand? So, but it's like watching, okay, like I said, it's like sitting there and be thinking, hmm. But the courtroom knows something the public often forgets. The real trial hasn't started yet because the moment that matters most is still coming. What moment is that? Let's hear. Let's hear. Second point, the cross-examination moment comes. We've witnessed this in the Senzomiwa case a lot, where Abozandile were flowing and Kumnandi telling us the story of what happened in the house, being dramatic, doing all of that shandy. You guys remember this, right? It happened. Oh, it happened. Yes, it happened. They were crying, feeling some type of way, feeling that they are not being heard enough. Konke, konke, konke. Okay? Yes. Then the defense stands up and everything changes. Yes, now the questions are no longer comfortable for Uzanti. Now she's fighting with Ebo Mumalo saying, you know what, I'm not your wife. I'm somebody's wife. Don't speak to me like, ma'am, ma'am. That was witness number one during Judge Ratamu Kwatleng's. Ma'am, what you mean now? What you mean now? Do you understand? Do you understand? And another moment that we forgot, we can also, if you guys remember, hi, Ujudge Rata at some point was like, Uzandile was like, I have chest pains. I have chest pains. Ujudge Rata was like, sick or what? Ujudge Rata was not impressed. And Ujudge Rata was like, yeah, I mean, I had a witness that claims to be sick and I paid with my own money. I took that witness. And all along, that person is having panic attacks, is scared of standing in the witness box. Do you understand? So those are the moments. Those are the moments of importance. Anyway, and now, when the defense gets up, questions are uncomfortable now for Abozandile. They get angry, they get too emotional. This is called cross-examination. And this is where judges begin watching very carefully what happens here. They are not just listening to answers, they are watching something deeper. They are watching whether the story survives pressure, because truth behaves very differently from fabrication. A person telling the truth can withstand pressure. Njengobongani Ntatse, njengoMuzi Sibiya. They can withstand pressure. A person reconstructing a story often cannot withstand the blood pressure. It becomes too much for them. We've seen it kwabo Tumelo. We've seen it Kuzandile. We've seen it happen now kwabo Giminda self. We've seen. They resorted to like, we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen kwabo Mokhan. We've seen it happen like everywhere. Do you understand? So a person reconstructing a story often cannot remember everything and you lose themselves. Okay, so a judge looks at such things. Looks at such things. Okay, so the judge looks for three signals. Does the witness stay consistent? Do the answers remain calm, or does the story begin to shift? When that shift happens, judges notice it immediately. There is no way that we can say, no, Madribula is not watching those things. He does. He does. And that is often the moment when first internal judgment begins. Let's go to point number 3, the break in the narrative. The most dangerous moment for the state is when the defense introduces a contradiction, which happened a lot in the Senzomiwa case. A time that doesn't match. We've seen Mngomezulu introducing the section 205 of accused number 3. That Ubaloi did not read. That alone was very problematic. A record that doesn't align. A statement that conflicts with the earlier testimony. Do you remember those things? This is where the courtroom becomes very quiet because everyone is waiting for the same thing. So when we look at Judge Ratha, sometimes say, Akabali, he's not writing anything. He's sitting there and just listening. Time will tell. Because everyone is waiting for that same thing. How will this witness respond? Will they explain it clearly? Will they stay composed? Or will the story start moving under pressure? Experienced judges have seen this thousands of times. Judge Ratha often says this. And they know something important. When the narrative starts breaking during cross-examination, it is extremely difficult to repair it later. Point number 4, the legal question that decides everything. Even if the witness appears credible, that the judge will ask the most dangerous legal questions in criminal law. Judge Ratha tried with Omar Kosonke to do such things. Do you remember? But defense diffused all of that nonsense fast. He had no choice. He was left with his anger and temper. Mr. Temper was left with his temper. Does this evidence actually prove that the accused committed the crime? Those are the things he has no choice but to ask. Because in the murder trial, the state must do something incredibly difficult. They must prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt, not suspicion, not probability, but certainly strong enough to remove reasonable doubt alternative explanations. If those alternatives remain, the law requires the court to acquit. So judges watch the evidence under cross-examination. They are silently asking, does this truly connect the accused to the crime? Or does it simply suggest possibilities? And if the answer to what possibility, reasonable doubt begins to grow. Point number 5, the verdicts. The verdict, the verdict day is not the real decision. This is why seasoned lawyers say something that surprises the public. Most murder trials are not decided on judgment day. By the time closing arguments happens, the judge already have a strong internal sense of the case. The verdict simply becomes the formal explanation of conclusions forming months earlier or years earlier. That is why cross-examination is the real battlefield, not the speeches, not the headlines, but those quiet moments where the evidence is tested, because that is where the truth either falls or collapses. Do you understand? Why this matters in the Senzo trial? In complex cases involving confessions, phone records, and investigative testimonies, the decisive moment often appears when investigators themselves are cross-examined, because that is when the court discovers something critical. Was the evidence built on solid evidence? I mean, was the case built on solid evidence, or was it built on assumptions and interpretations? And when that moment arrives, experienced judges often know long before the trial judge, the final judgment, whether the state case is powerful or structurally fragile. Those are the things. And that is why you see sometimes people are questioning Gujarat Rata. And that is the hidden reality of long murder trials. The public waits for the verdict, but inside the courtroom, the real decision often began months later, in one quiet moment when the story is finally tested. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.